Good morning, student. Welcome back for the dissection of the posterior mediastinum. Now, since we have to go to the structures which lie deep in the esophagus, what I am doing is that I am removing this trachea and its principal bronchus by cutting here and removing the dense connective tissue which is joining the esophagus with that of the trachea. I will not remove in the whole length because this specimen will be used by student to revise the posterior mediastinum. So I am just removing it here. See, you can see the anterior surface of the esophagus. Now I just will lift the esophagus, will free it from its posterior adhesions, okay, and then we'll turn it onto one side, okay, we'll turn it onto one side. I have just cut. See, this esophagus has gone here along with that of the trachea. Okay, so I have just exposed the deeper structure of the posterior mediastinum which lie deep to that of the esophagus. And here we will see that the most important thing what we will see in the posterior mediastinum deep to the esophagus is this descending thoracic aorta. I have cut this descending thoracic aorta at the end of the aortic arch. As soon as the aortic arch ends and the descending thoracic aorta starts, I have cut. This will be extending, the descending thoracic aorta extend between T4 to T12, okay? That means at the end of the aortic arch, it will start and then will pierce the diaphragm just in front of the T12 thoracic vertebra, okay, through the aortic opening, okay, aortic opening. Now, if you see this thoracic aorta, which is lying to the left of that of the vertebral column, okay, posterior slightly to that of the esophagus. So this is descending thoracic aorta which lies on left side. What we will see that it is related anteriorly what we have seen with the root of the left lung. It is anteriorly related to the root of the left lung, and then if I just place it again, see this was the principal bronchus, and this principal bronchus was going into the root of the left lung. So here was the other structures also that of the root of lung which will be lying anterior to the first part of the descending. First part means at the beginning of the descending thoracic aorta, okay, this thing. Now this part will also lie below this root of the lung, this anterior surface, okay, onto the right side it will be the esophagus, but then it is also onto the left side will be under the cover of the pericardium, and that is the fibrous pericardium, the posterior layer of the fibrous pericardium, and the heart deep inside the fibrous pericardium will. So this part of the descending thoracic aorta is in relation to that of the heart. Now then if you see the posterior relation of the descending thoracic aorta, it is lying on to the bodies of the vertebrae, that is from thoracic 4 to the T12, but it is on its left side, okay, not anteriorly but onto the left side of the bodies, okay, onto the left side of the bodies, okay. Now then this is also crossing to the azygous vein onto the left side. I was trying to find out the azygous vein, but then it is deep inside, so I have not disturbed, but there will be the accessory hemiazygous and then hemiazygous vein which drains to the posterior intercostal vein, okay. Accessory hemiazygous vein will cross at the level in front of the 7th thoracic vertebra to open into this azygous vein here, while the hemiazygous vein will cross the in front of that of the 8th thoracic vertebrae to open into the this azygous vein. That means their terminal part of the azygous and hemiazygous, they will open. I will just clean it, and if I will get that opening of azygous and hemiazygous, then I will show you later. So this completes your descending thoracic aorta. Let us come to the thoracic duct. Now here posterior to the esophagus, we have learned that this is the thoracic duct which comes from the aortic opening itself, and it is formed in the abdomen opposite to the L1 and L2 level, which is the dilatation there, what is called as cisterna chyli. So from cisterna chyli, this thoracic duct is formed, which is the biggest thoracic duct, thoracic lymph vessel in the body. And then you can see that this is coming here, and then it will lie to the left side. After crossing to the fifth thoracic vertebra, it will come onto the left side and will go into the neck. Since we have removed the neck structures, so it was cut at the root of the neck. This is the thoracic duct. Okay. After thoracic duct, what we will get lying more onto the right side, okay, though the structures are shifted here to the left side because body was lying on to the left into the tank, so that because of the gravitational force, some of the structures have gone to the left side. What here you are seeing is the azygous vein. And this azygous vein will be here will be coming in front of that of the vertebral bodies, and at the level of the root of the right lung, it will wind round to the root of the right lung from a posterior towards the anterior side, and will open into the superior vena cava. After forming a hook-like structure like this, it will open into the superior vena cava, which is going to that of the right atrium. So this is the opening. So it will pour the blood into the right atrium through the superior vena cava, and it is draining. If you will see the tributaries of this thoracic, this vein, that is the azygous vein. On the right side, it is draining to that of the posterior intercostal vein. Now you can see I am just holding a posterior intercostal vein in my forceps here, which I have dissected into the intercostal space. In the successive two intercostal space, and the same veins, they are coming and will be draining here. You can see this. I will just pick up the veins. This vein, okay, this vein. See this vein? They are all come and open into the thoracic duct. So at each level, this posterior intercostal vein, they are right from T3 intercostal space to the T11. They will be draining into the azygous vein. Okay, now if you see the relationship of this posterior intercostal vein in the intercostal space, you can see this is the posterior intercostal nerve, this is the posterior intercostal artery, which is the branch from the thoracic aorta, and this right side they cross the vertebral column to come into the posterior intercostal space. These are the right posterior intercostal artery, and this is the posterior intercostal vein. So the nerve is the lowest, then comes the artery, and then comes the vein, which are better seen from the posterior or inner aspect as compared to that on the anterior aspect. So this is the azygous vein. Now suppose if I shift this azygous vein and then try to find out the hemiazygous and the accessory hemiazygous here. So I am trying to dissect the azygous, hemiazygous and accessory hemiazygous. Yes, it is there. See here. This is the azygous hemiazygous vein opening into the azygous. Can you see in the tip of my forceps is the hemiazygous vein, and if we just go a little one segment above, there should be the accessory hemiazygous also opening into the azygous vein. It must be somewhere here. Yes, this is the accessory hemiazygous, this one, which is crossing to the seventh thoracic vertebrae. This is crossing to the eighth thoracic vertebrae, and both are opening into the azygous vein. Okay, the hemiazygous and accessory hemiazygous, they drain to the left side of the intercostal space. Okay, so the aorta, it gives to the right intercostal arteries which crosses the vertebral column because aorta is lying onto the left side, and then onto the left side it gives directly, which goes into the intercostal space. I hope that except the sympathetic trunk everything is over. Okay, though the posterior, I mean to say, this is away from the covered by the costal pleura here. This is the sympathetic chain. Okay, in my forceps, if I start tracing it here, you can see this. I have lifted the posterior sympathetic chain here. This sympathetic chain lies in front of the head or the neck of the ribs. Okay, not onto the vertebral column, covered by the costal mediastinum, which I have removed the costal mediastinum to dissect this sympathetic chain. I have not dissected it onto the left side only. This is crossing to the intercostal vessels and nerves here, and then it is lying. What I have not dissected is that the greater splanchnic nerve, which will take origin from the fifth intercostal space or fifth sympathetic ganglion, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, and sometime ninth, and it's will form the greater splanchnic nerve, which will go through the, which will pierce the diaphragm and will go down to form the celiac trunk in the around the celiac plexus or celiac ganglion it will be. So that I think this completes the dissection of the posterior mediastinum and all the structure of posterior. Thank you very much for watching this video.